What's up, everyone? We are back, and we are going to be diving in as the Vandy Blitz do some Sunday football. First, we want to recap the game from last night. Crazy ending. I want to know, was it PI or not, guys? Was it PI or not?
Yeah, it was definitely PI.
And it was shocking, too, to see the refs. Like, everyone says the refs, ride the Cowboys all the times. And this time, it's the Bucs that get lucky. But it is Tom Brady.
They ride Brady
you
There's
can't
a
say
hierarchy to it, though. I feel like Brady comes first, then you have the Cowboys, then you have like the Giants, then you have the Giants.
I feel like you can't say
agree.
because of one team. It's because the refs are like this player. It's just refs suck. They just miss calls, and that's what happened. Unfortunately, that happens sometimes. But before that in the game, it was a really, really good matchup, and I don't want that to overcast what we saw in this game, and that is that the Bucs offense still has it. Brady was sharp. Brady is that.
Cowboys nearly won that game. That's a Super Bowl team right there that they almost beat.
Yeah, that's another thing that we can learn from that game. Dak Prescott, he is back to being that guy on this team.
That was the whole narrative coming into the game. Was the Cowboys haven't had any reps. They looked fine. That offense is gonna be flying. NFC East, they're coming to get it because it's wide open, I think.
They looked fine, but Zeke got 10 rushes for 29 yards. Come on, dude. You're on my fantasy team. I need more from you.
On my Zeke, like we were just talking about, but let's talk about CeeDee Lamb. He looked really – I think this is a season for him where a potential Pro Bowl season where it shows that he could be the number one guy there. And Amari Cooper's great. Gallup's great, but Lamb's you guys see his end-around touchdown?
Andrew, you can't be talking about CeeDee Lamb after Amari Cooper gets 12 receptions and 130 yards.
And CeeDee Lamb dropped.
I don't want to hear that.
CeeDee Lamb had two such bad drops in the beginning. I mean, he turned it around, and I think honestly, in terms of Pro Bowl, you are right. But the thing about Pro Bowl nowadays is
no, it's a popular.
Mitch Trubisky was in the Pro Bowl 3 years ago.
Yeah, what? Exactly. I think CeeDee Lamb, he's got the persona and the drip to become a Pro Bowl player. Yeah. He's also pretty good, so that'll help. But I think Pro Bowl now, a lot of it's a name game, so I don't know if that's the most important thing. But I think he is poised to have a pretty nice season.
But for now, Amari Cooper's
the number one
on the Dallas Cowboys.
But I think more to Andrew's point, it's you look at that Cowboys wide receiver core, and you're like, wow, they have CeeDee Lamb. They have Amari Cooper, they have Michael Gallup, who all are very, very good players. So they just have a lot of threats. And if Zeke can get going again, then they'll have one of the more well-rounded offenses.
I mean, talking about threats getting going again, how about Antonio Brown? He looked like the Steelers guy of old. That is what I like to see. I picked him up in my fantasy draft.
And Jacob, I think, said before the game, we have a betting group chat, not that it's legal, but just a theoretical thing. And he said Antonio Brown will have the most receiving yards of the Bucs. And I was thinking, what the fuck is this kid smoking? But I realized this is Antonio Brown's back. He's getting that repertoire with Tom Brady, and so is Chris Godwin.
Godwin, and then they have Mike Evans. And talk about weapons. Gronk had 2 touchdowns. It's crazy.
Chris Godwin's really good. He's also really good at pushing off, but that's besides the point. I listen. I think it was such a great game. Great way to open the season. I'm just so happy that it wasn't one of those games where we see a team just get blown the hell out of the water. It was a last classic fashion Brady drive. That's what we pay to see.
Yeah, I think a big takeaway I had from the game was that the Cowboys defense got a lot better. They had 2 interceptions and a forced fumble on Zeke. So, on
2 forced fumbles. I think it was 4-1 in the turnover battle. I think.
Really? Well. Regardless, I'm really impressed with the Cowboys defense, and if that's real, if that's not just luck, I don't know. I'd be scared of the Cowboys because that offense is gonna. I mean, Dak's gonna throw 300 yards a game. I think you can lock that in.
58 attempts. He threw the ball 58 times.
I mean, I think that is sort of the tail of the game, though. Their run game was clearly not working.
They were it wasn't that it wasn't working. It's more that they got into a shootout with Tom Brady. they gave him 10 rushing attempts. It's not that it wasn't.
Yeah. Also, don't overreact to Zeke. Like the Cowboys, the Buccaneers, even last year were like the best rush in the league. Like running backs always like played poorly against the Buccaneers. So
Yeah, they have
like,
a really
don't overreact to that. I think that was just game scripts. Like they knew they had to throw.
I know it's only one game, but last night kind of showed the Cowboys can kind of be the head of that NFC East division and really can run away with it. If they play like that every game, they're going to be 11-6, 12-5 easily.
17.
The problem is
It's so weird.
they always look good on paper, and then they even proved it yesterday. They played well, but they always have that like stretch of 3 or 4 games where they'll lose to like teams that they should not lose to.
Fair.
Yeah.
And they end up 8-8 or 9-7 when they should be 11-6. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and there's always a threat of injury. I mean, think about the Ravens, for example. I personally was really high on the Ravens to have a strong year, but their team is falling apart.
It's kind of hard to get behind that, like a team having a strong year after you just lose so many guys. Like it's just like the 49ers last year. We could see the Ravens really regress.
Especially with Marcus Peters too. I know they have Marlon Humphrey, but that loss is so big. I'm worried about the Ravens for sure.
Yeah, you guys want to transition to Sunday? And talk
must have been wrong with their.
Yeah, for sure. It was back-to-back plays.
I also just wanted to say, like, yesterday I was sitting there watching the game, and I always try to figure out, like, what makes Tom Brady so good. And I feel like it's very much a mixture of him being sharp. Like, he knows where to put the ball, when and where to put the ball. But at the same time, the scheme it just seemed like whenever he wanted to throw the ball to someone, they would be either wide open or, like, the defense would break down or something like that. So it's like, I'm almost like, is it, like, somewhat luck? But it can't be. Because it's just.
I mean,
it happens
so
every single day.
Yeah, I know. So, but anyway, let's transition into Sunday. So, Andrew, you can kick it off if you want to pick a game to watch.
Game to watch for me is going to be Sunday night matchup. We have the Rams and the Bears. Obviously, it's going to be Andy Dalton, but I'm so excited to see. You know what's weird about the Rams to me? Everyone's like, Matthew Stafford's going to change this team. If they're going to change this team, why are they predicting they're going to have the same amount of wins this year as they predicted last year? So I'm really excited to see that against the Bears. I want to see how Dalton plays. I want to see how Allen Robinson plays. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think the Dalton Bears will end up losing by 7 because they won't be able to protect against the Rams 4 defenders, and that's what I'm thinking. What about you guys with this game?
I don't know. I mean, I'm very interested to see how Stafford fits into the system and how the Rams are able to play.
I think the Rams are going to come out and be a dominant force. I really have a lot of faith.
Because I've always been high on Stafford. He's a great quarterback.
He's such a good quarterback, and he's been overlooked continuously due to being on the Lions.
But now that excuse can't work anymore. I know.
But it's never had to.
You're right.
It's never had to work on the Rams, and we shouldn't assume that it will until it does. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I think he needs. For me, he needs to prove something though. Like I've been high on him as a quarterback, and like now you're saying now he has the opportunity to prove himself, and I really hope he does. But I think this is like one of those times where you're like, okay, now's your chance. Like let's see it.
And it wasn't anything against Goff. I just think Goff didn't elevate or like win that game. And we've seen Stafford have so many like comeback games. I think he had the most comeback wins in 2018.
He's had the most comeback wins for a large stretch.
What's up, Joe?
Like he's a player, not like I think with Stafford, you look at the comparison to Goff. Like Goff would win some games, but like with Stafford, I think it's like you're gonna either win or lose by Stafford on offense. It's gonna be like he's gonna actually have the control to win or lose games, and that's something that Goff did not have. It was not really up to him; it was up to his surrounding cast. But with Stafford now, I think the way that they're gonna play and the way they're gonna throw the ball, it's not gonna be that like, oh, like this player had this game and that's why Goff maybe did better or worse. It's gonna be Stafford had this game and that's why they won the game or they lost the game. It's gonna be on Stafford.
That makes sense.
I want to get into a new game also. The battle of the Bama QBs. Dolphins versus Patriots, divisional game, huge game. The Dolphins will not have a decent amount of players. We have Will Fuller. We won't have who else won't we have because of like I don't know, but I think it's gonna be interesting to see Mac Jones like come out. Like they cut Cam Newton. That's a pretty big move. Like I'm excited to see how
Cam Newton said about that. He said that he was cut because he would have been a distraction and Mac Jones would have been uncomfortable.
Well, he would have been distraction as a backup, and I think that's kind of true. Cam Newton brings so much like media attention, and when you're a backup, you should be kind of under the radar. But going back to the game, sorry.
I heard a report.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, real quick. I heard a report that like Mac was teaching Cam the playbook, which is like that's obviously not a good sign. Andrew, go ahead.
Also, Belichick said that Cam Newton gave them all he had. So like,
yeah,
I
but
think
that's also Belichick.
Yes, but I also think it's like no love lost at the end of the day. Like he kind of knows where he sat and saw this rookie come in and play well. And
yeah,
I'm excited to see how the Patriots' new receivers in Aguilar and Kendrick Bourne. I know they're not like the biggest names, but will they help a Patriots offense where that's what their issue last year? They had no production on the perimeter. That's what's going to be exciting against the Dolphins.
Jonnu Smith too.
Sorry.
Jonnu Smith is a great player. I think Belichick's going to really use him. Like Belichick just knows how to use his guys, and Jonnu Smith's one of those guys that like you don't recreate him very easily in the league. Like isn't he a smaller kind of tight end-ish player?
Very talented.
Like very talented, smallish tight. Like he's gonna use him in some ways that I already know we're gonna get screwed on because it's first week. But like he's gonna.
No, I'm excited. I'm excited to see him play. The Dolphins are continually a team that keeps getting better and better. So I expect them to keep being a better team each time that I watch them. And now this Patriots team is exciting because of Mac Jones. And so totally agree with that. Another game to watch, Bills Steelers. That's a big one. I think the Bills are still going to be a really good team this season. I think Josh Allen is still going to be a really good quarterback this season. And I think the Steelers, who were one of the best teams last season, are not going to be a good team this season. And I think this game is just going to be
Sorry. Just can you hear us? Sorry, he got a call. No, we'll keep going. Yeah, we'll cut it, whatever. Ethan had a call. Well, what I was just saying about the Bills-Steelers game, I'm really excited to see how the Steelers defense does with losing Bud Dupree. That's a huge loss against the Bills running and passing game. I think that's going to be a good matchup to watch.
No, but
I think the Bills will win that pretty convincingly. I think like of all teams in the AFC, like the Steelers have regressed the most. Like I know it wasn't that long ago that they were like
12-0.
Yeah, like whatever it was, but I'm not very optimistic. I think Roethlisberger has like high expectations for the season, but the offensive line got worse, the defense got worse.
They're fucked.
They lost
That's what I'm saying.
They lost Villanueva, but they also got Trey Turner, I think.
No, they're screwed, but I'm also a believer. And I also have like bias, obviously, but I think I have a feeling Josh Allen is going to regress a little bit this season. He's not going to have as good of a season as he did last season.
Based off his gut, you think? Like,
seen some clips of him in training camp. I think that I don't know. I just don't think I think a lot of people don't realize how much Diggs actually helped him make that leap to becoming like a really elite quarterback.
And Diggs hasn't played a full season like that. Like
he's always injured. Like,
okay, but at the same time, Joe, when you boil it down, like Josh Allen still has to get the ball to him. Like, yes, Diggs does all he can, but he still has to be able to make that pass, make that throw, read the defense,
evade pressure. Like, it's not like Stephon Diggs is the fastest receiver in the league and gives Josh Allen a different pocket presence than.
All I'm saying is, like, I feel like it's unfair to say that a lot of Josh Allen's success comes from Stephon Diggs.
But how can you not say that if, like, what was the difference between last year and every other
year? That's not necessarily the cause.
Diggs definitely did help the team for sure, but I don't think that's why I don't think Josh Allen could have a bad season, because Diggs just like makes your quarterback look better the way Diggs played last season.
That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with Joe. I've seen 2 years, like Josh Allen's first 2 years, where he was overthrowing like receivers by 10 yards, like making poor decisions. Like
he still did that in the Chiefs game, the championship.
And they just paid him so much. Do you think he's gonna have like as big? He's gonna be as big a threat on his feet now? Is he going to be running as much as he has previously? I don't know.
And also, it's important when you give someone a big deal in 2-3 years, your roster is going to be worse. So Allen needs to elevate his game to an MVP level every season if they need to be close to the Super Bowl.
That's a scary thought. Bills fan.
Say that he would regress as a player, but I think the team will not be as good as they were last season. I think that's fair to say.
Staying in the AFC though, I want to talk about this is a game to watch in my opinion. It's the two best teams in the AFC, the Browns and the Chiefs. I don't know. I think I like the Browns. Like I mean, you know what? No, I'm crazy. The Chiefs
I was gonna say,
bro, the Browns are dirty too, though.
No, the Browns are
just giving hot takes for the sake of giving a hot take.
Dude, I know. I think this is gonna be a game to watch. But something interesting about the Chiefs, I do think this is gonna be not a great season in terms of Patrick Mahomes' standards for him. I think he's gonna throw the most interceptions he's thrown in his entire career this season. And I think the Chiefs will still be good. He'll still be an MVP guy, but it's not going to be as good a season as his last 2 seasons.
I definitely respectfully disagree there because the Chiefs totally helped their offensive line. They got the guy from Baltimore, the left tackle that's a Pro Bowler. I forget his name for a second. They got the guy from New England. Their O-line was their issue last year, and I think now Mahomes will have more time where he won't make as many picks.
Ethan, I disrespectfully disagree with you. Like the Chiefs only got better this year. Like Andrew said, the one thing that the Bucs really picked them on was their offensive line. And what did they do? They went out and filled those holes. So the Chiefs will win that game, but the Browns were really, really close. Like a Chad Henne first down away from winning that game. So
true.
I think it'll be exciting to see those two teams play.
All they got to do is knock Mahomes out of the game, and they'll be fine.
Yeah.
You got to have Myles Garrett come at him with a club and just take them both out and see what happens.
Let's start swinging helmets. I think that's a great idea.
Okay. Well, I'll bring up a game. I am very interested to see the Titans versus the Cardinals. You know, our hometown Tennessee Titans.
Let's go.
With the new Julio Jones on the team. I'm really excited to see how this offense is going to function against
Keep in mind, Titans defense is pretty shit. I'm pretty sure they're pretty bad. There's
the
nothing
pre-signing I think is really helpful.
It is, but I still think they're going to be an average defense at best.
I think there's going to be a lot of points in that game, and I think we'll see, Julio Jones. I think is gonna have a great year. I think people are kind of low on him.
Yeah,
I don't know, on him, old, but he's gonna.
How old is he though? He's 30.
Yeah, no, he's gonna fit right in, just like Hopkins did on the Cardinals. That, I like that team a lot.
Also, the Titans they're putting 8 guys in the box to guard Henry, and when you have AJ Brown and Julio Jones. This is a very scary offense. I know a lot of people are kind of overrating the Titans, and the reason I'm scared is kind of what Joe said, is because their defense isn't good, but their offense will be winning them games, such as Sunday.
But will Tannehill be able to go into spread, and play well as a spread quarterback? I know he doesn't really have to with Derrick Henry.
Not his game now.
Play
action will always work for him, obviously because of Derrick Henry. But when they're down in a game and they're coming back, will Tannehill be able to just go into spread and just pick apart defense? I don't know, honestly.
Dude, he's demonstrated ever since he's gotten to Tennessee the ability to be better. The ability to get better, the ability to
literally dealt with his average mediocrity in Miami for so long, and then he just became good.
No, really, I
was literally at a game when I first came to Nashville. I was at a Chiefs versus Titans game, and the Chiefs were up. It was literally 45 seconds left in the game, and Tannehill led the team down and scored with 20 seconds left. And then the Chiefs got in field goal range, and then the Titans blocked the field goal and won the game. It was hype. But Tannehill closed that game, so I saw it live. So he hasn't given me a reason to believe he can't do that, in my opinion.
No, I just think it's going to be an interesting game and definitely a shootout. And hopefully the Titans can win just because, being in Nashville, you obviously want your hometown
Facts.
team to win.
Go Titans. Go Titans.
Should we transition to our fantasy sleepers for week 1? Who we like?
We're all fantasy football players here, aren't we? We're all professional
100%.
fantasy owners. Yeah, I've got some sleepers for this week. I think Najee Harris is going to have a good year overall. I think the Steelers are going to be bad, but I think Najee Harris is going to be the bright spot on their roster, and I think that's going to start in this game too. And I think he's going to beat. He's only projected. He's on my fantasy team. He's projected 14.
I think you're probably playing a full
definitely
PPR.
Gonna beat that. Yeah, we are. We are playing full PPR. What are you guys playing?
We're doing like half PPR. I think the
No,
thing.
it's full. It's
Well, the thing with Najee and Nick Chubb, they're both sick, but they just don't catch balls out of the backfield. That's the only reason why I'm like scared, but they're still gonna have great
They're
weeks,
like
I think.
workhorse running backs that are gonna get you yards, that are gonna get you points.
the volume that those guys are gonna get are just gonna like eventually they'll be touchdowns, they'll be yards. I'll go with my pick. I think Jalen Hurts will have a top 5 fantasy week in week 1. I'm not at all in the Falcons defense, and really honestly not even the Eagles defense. So I just think there will be points in that game, and I like what the Eagles have done. Like they went out and got some guys to fill out that offense. So
I think a criminally underrated player in fantasy football is Tyler Lockett. I think Tyler Lockett will have an amazing fantasy season every year. I mean, like, it's so easy to sleep on him because the guy who plays right next to him is like this actual specimen of a human being in DK. But like, I think Tyler Lockett, he's always there. He's always making plays. He makes great catches. He's a gritty player. I have him as my flex, which I think is insane. But I think in reality, he's a wide receiver too, and he can make almost any fantasy roster.
Yeah.
Kind of transitioning from a tight end perspective, I like Noah Fant. 2 years ago, he was really underrated. Last year, he had a bad season. Yeah. But Teddy Bridgewater loves his tight ends. And Fant's such a receiving tight end, one of the more in the league. He has a lot of touchdowns. I'm just really excited to see what he can do. And he's one of their more biggest receiving threats other than Cortland Sutton and Judy.
The only problem I have with Noah Fant is I feel like he's somewhat injury prone.
Yeah, that's true.
So, in fantasy, that's obviously a big deal too, because you get hurt, you have a big hole to fill in that tight end position.
But so is Cortland Sutton, so you never know.
That's true. No, I mean it could be anyone, and injuries are obviously something that are so random that it's you can't predict anything. But.
Yeah, I think a tight end to watch this season is TJ Hawkinson on the Lions. I think Goff is going to rely heavily on TJ Hawkinson, who was a really high draft pick, first round pick out of Iowa.
Yeah,
I think a couple of years ago, and he has gotten better every single season on that Lions team. And now Goff is going to rely on him because who else can he rely on? Right?
I think Hawkinson is one of those guys who's just a consistent player. He's not going to give you a 20-point week.
He'll give you 12 to
solid 12, 13, week. 14 every week.
Yeah. He's a good backup tight end in my opinion.
No, I think he's a good tight end to have. It depends how deep your league is.
Yeah.
That's true. This might be super steaming hot take, and you guys are all probably like, what? But I actually really like Kenny Golladay, and I know I was saying this to you the other day. He's not even the wide receiver 1 on the Giants, but for some reason I just have this itching inside of me that he's gonna have
he was a weapon on the Lions.
I think he's just gonna have a hell of a year. And I don't know why, and it's super random, but I just think he's one of those guys.
Because you're a fanboy.
No,
exactly.
Here's what I think. Kenny
Golladay
Golladay is a receiver that can make plays and can have a really good year, but he requires a competent quarterback to do that.
Is Daniel Jones that guy?
Exactly. Do the Giants have a competent quarterback? That's the question. That's what the success of their season it depends on, and I don't think they do, and that's why I made a bet with a different friend of mine that Washington would have a better season than the Giants. I put $100.
I mean, Washington for sure.
Make that bet.
The Giants are going to be the worst team in the NFC.
I think the Giants are going to be really bad.
Yeah. I think the Lions will be the worst team in the NFC.
Nah, the Lions are gonna figure it out. They're gonna have gritty wins. I think they're gonna be a 4-win team.
Do you think
Joe, you're on mute.
Joe.
You're saying something.
Do you think that the Giants are going to be worse than the Eagles?
I'm not on mute.
The
I
Giants will be
think
worse
the
than-
Giants will be worse than the Eagles. Yes, for sure.
Do you think that Daniel Jones is going to be terrible?
I think
Yes.
Daniel Jones is already terrible.
Jeez,
Dude,
there's nothing.
you gotta
but
give-
Giants
Give
slander out
Daniel
here.
Jones another year, and if he has another shitty year, you gotta go next.
Here, give him.
I mean, it's like people have been giving him like all this. They're like, oh, next year he'll be really good. Next year will be his breakout season. For me, this year is that. It's do or die for me. Like either
It's
you
all-
do well
it is.
or like
This
I'm
year,
done.
We
if
played the
you
Giants, we
look
played
at
the
Daniel Jones. He got Galladay. He got Sterling Shepard. He has Evan Ingram.
Darius Slayton
has
is the wide receiver
Darius
one. Like
Slayton.
what?
Dude,
Darius
there's so many
Slayton
better
over.
than that.
Wait, how about
That's
over
what I'm saying.
Sterling
I like Sterling
Shepard
Shepard.
I agree,
and
but
Kenny
he's not.
Galladay,
It makes no
and they
sense.
have Evan Ingram.
Because he's a slot.
This
guy,
team
though.
had so many receiving
No,
weapons. They had a good quarterback.
No,
He's
dude.
phenomenal.
We have way too much Giants talk.
We're gonna play them week 17 with our backup. We're gonna already be clinching the playoffs.
We don't need to talk about the 1-16 Giants.
Backup. We're gonna win with our backups against Saquon, who will already be injured, and Daniel Jones, who probably will already be fired. Who knows who's gonna be on that team?
So guys,
Hot take: Jets are going to the playoffs.
Oh my god.
who's a team that you guys think will surprise the most amount of teams this week in specific?
Dude, I think the Rams. I think the Rams are going to come out.
I
with
think the Rams are going to have a
force.
great.
I think
great
Matthew
season.
Stafford is going to throw for like 400 yards and
I
score.
think they're gonna show that they're like for sure the worst team in the league for sure.
Who?
All right, we get it. Oh, you're dude.
No, honestly, I think the Browns. I'm gonna say they're gonna beat the Chiefs. Honestly,
Wow.
That would be,
Wow.
that would
I think
be,
Browns
that
will
would be
beat
a
the Chiefs.
bold take.
It's a steaming.
Well, if you're being honest, then I must believe you. I think Browns are a great team. I could see them winning it. I mean, they almost actually did win it in the playoffs when it mattered. So, but it all depends on Baker, bro. Baker, like he's like everyone's like, oh, he's so good again. He could just easily regress so fast. Like if we want to talk about a regressing quarterback that could regress at the drop of a hat, it's Baker Mayfield, 100%. The guy is good 1 second, bad the next. Like I don't. If he plays out of his mind, they can win that game for sure because they can clock manage, dominate on the ground. They still have such a lethal duo in the backfield. Like I don't know. I think they could be really dangerous, but it all depends. It's the same way with Stafford too. Like these guys win or lose games for their teams. It's not like they're relying on someone else. It's them.
and I think that's what's like most exciting when we see rookie quarterbacks week one. Like they were so consistent in college, and they get to the league, and they're like, they can be shit, and that's what's gonna be so cool this week. Seeing Trevor Lawrence, seeing Zach
Seeing
Wilson.
Trevor
You know what I'm
Lawrence
really
is going to be
excited
really
for?
excited. Joe
Justin
Burrow.
Herbert. I think he's gonna have a great season.
Herbert, I think
I want to see what he
the
does.
Chargers overall are just a team to watch because I can't tell if they're going to be terrible, if they're going to be meh, or if they're going to.
I
be
think
like,
Justin
We were-
Herbert could have an MVP season. I think he showed me like everything that could.
Dude, guys are so like oh my.
MVP race. If you look at the way Herbert last year played,
Yeah, did I see how he played? Yeah, I saw how he played.
bro, like a lot of people would agree with me in that he
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 is
can
an
go for an
elite
MVP
quarterback,
race.
but MVP is like Aaron Rodgers.
I want
Bro,
to
he only had one. He's okay. He had a very good rookie season. I'll give him that. But I don't think he's got like guys like Keenan Allen's a great player. Mike Williams also a great player. But these
You're
guys
right. He doesn't have the weapons yet. You're right. That's fair.
But
and I think the Chargers
despite that, can he do
not
it?
strong enough of a team to actually go far, to actually be legitimate enough of contenders to ever be considered MVP because you're not gonna have an MVP on like the most terrible team.
The Chargers are actually cheeks. Like their defense.
And Austin
their
Eckler-
defense sucks.
Austin
dude.
Eckler's out, I think.
They've
Yeah.
more right now. So I don't know. I wasn't like trying to be like, oh, Justin Herbert's gonna be the MVP. I was more like, he had a great rookie year. I want to see what he does in this next year and how he plays, and maybe he'll step up his game. You know.
So I don't know. I think you're reasonable, Theo. I think Wilf is super unreasonable about his comment.
Extremely unreasonable.
How about saying the Dolphins will be clinching By
Well, that was
week
clearly facetious. That was clearly facetious. Yours was like a legitimate take.
I do think that Herbert, I'm also saying
Yeah.
Walking it back now. Now he's
listen.
like,
He's
oh
walking
shit.
it back.
from a skill perspective, if he plays a little bit better than last season and his weapons play a little bit better, they could be a playoff team. But the thing that scares me is just their division, honestly. They're not going to be winning the division, so it's all about getting a wild card spot.
Yeah.
You can't really get an MVP from a wild card. But I was more just trying to make a point to see that like Herbert could be like a top 5 quarterback. Maybe I should have made that standpoint.
So I actually have like an upset watch, a game on upset watch I want to bring up. It's the Saints and the Packers. It's a neutral field in Jacksonville, and I just think that like with everything that went on with the Packers this offseason, and just I mean I don't know. I think Jameis is competent enough to get it done, and I think the Saints defense is probably better.
Is Michael Thomas going to be playing though?
He won't be.
No, Mike Thomas is out for like
Jameis
6
Winston
weeks,
is
right?
so bad. Like, oh my
The only reason why I would think the Saints could maybe win is because like their entire home is being destroyed. So like maybe they'll like, but like that.
Like
Listen,
yeah, but also I feel like that's sort of a traumatizing thing that like maybe their minds aren't fully going to be on the game. So I think that point could go either way.
And to give you guys a backstory, a week ago, the entire team was in Dallas, like forced to just evacuate, practice there for 2 days. They've been on the move. Their family's moving back and forth. I don't think they're focused on football, like you said. Winston hasn't started in 2 years.
He looks objectively a terrible football player.
I don't know about that, though, actually.
all right. I mean,
So is Daniel Jones.
like
Go
I
on.
know.
Yeah, he is. I don't disagree with you.
All right, we'll have to come back to this game when the Saints win, and I can rub it in your face.
I hope the Saints win. For sure.
No chance.
No chance. I mean,
All right.
yeah, does anybody else have any other games to watch? If not, thank you guys so much for sitting here and watching us discuss football. We're super hyped for this Sunday. We will be posting way more episodes, way more frequently than we have been, because there's going to be a lot of football to talk about. There's going to be a lot of free agency stuff in basketball to talk about. A lot of stuff happens in the sports world in the fall. So stay tuned to the Vandy Blitz. Make sure you like, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys. Peace.